up, Cougar fans? Troy Prattley checking in here with head women's basketball coach Lauren Martin. This is the first edition of Women's Basketball Coaches Weekly here in 2024. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Let's recap. Last time you spoke with us, actually spoke with Parker, who has since graduated. Shout out to Parker Kelly.
Yeah.
On December 14th. Let's rewind a little bit. Your team has since then taken a trip to Northern Illinois University, NIU, played a game there. What was that like? Not every year you get to play a Division I team, and for your team to get that experience. Talk a little bit about that.
I think it was a great opportunity for us. It was coming off a break, and we had a pretty long break. So just getting on the floor again, and then just the support we had from our families. Like we had a ton of people up there. Some longtime mentors and coaches in the area came. And then for the girls to get on the court and just compete and play and get back at it, I think overall just the opportunity and the experience, and then just to know going up against people that are maybe a little bit taller, a little bit more athletic, and then watching the film and seeing, oh, you know what, if I work hard enough, I can do just as well. So, so it was good. It was a good experience.
Yeah, and since then, you've gone on to win and lose a few games here. So on a little bit of a skid right now. So what does it take? Kind of what's the mentality of the team, you as the head of the team? Kind of like, hey, how can we get out of this? We're going into practice every day. Sometimes these days can get long with classes now. We've had snow. It's cold. So, how do you get your team up out of this now and moving forward? We'll talk a little bit about tomorrow, but.
I tell them it's not cold, it's hot, it's a mindset, and, you can go on a little bit of skid, but our team, I love them. We're working so hard, and we know that we can outwork teams, and when we trust the system, and we share the ball, and we dive on the floor, and we do all the things that we talked about all year, we are a top-level team. And when we get away from those teams, which through some experience and us being a little bit younger, we've done that.
Sure.
And now I think being able to visually see it. We see it on film, and then at practice, and adjust and fix it, and then again that work ethic just needs to be sustained the entire time and consistent. And like I said at the start, I love the group, and where we're at is where we're at right now, and tomorrow's a new day to be somewhere else, and just to have that opportunity again is something I know our girls can't wait to be at home and get after.
And you got an opportunity to kind of right the ship tomorrow. So you're going to host Marian, a team that comes in with a similar record, both total and in conference, so kind of neck and neck there. Your team's won 8 of the last 10 matchups against Marian. So how are you feeling about tomorrow? What does that kind of look like, and what does your team need to do to come out with a win?
Well, yesterday one of our girls, one of our freshmen, Lindley, sent something in our group chat about how you can always have a goal, and you love the goal when you get there, when you achieve the goal, but how about loving the journey and the process in between? Yeah. And shared that with the whole group, and when you really think about that, everything we're doing is that process to get to our goal, and tomorrow's another step in that, and learning today at practice about how we're going to go and trust ourselves, and then also game plan against another team. So our mindset is in the right place, and where our goal is still our goal.
Absolutely.
And just enjoying the bit of the process every day that we get is an excellent thing for us right now.
Yeah, there's a quote I really like. It says, the man who loves the walk, the man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. And that's just a good thing to keep in mind in all the sports. But you talk about preparation, you talk about game plan. Tomorrow you're going to face a Marian team that has Kira Williams. She comes in averaging 19.3 points a game. She leads the NAC conference in points, total points. So when you have a player like that you're getting ready to face, what's the game plan like? Is it you focus on her, or is it just focus on team defense in general?
It's a little of both. The team themselves, they have multiple players that can score, shoot the ball. She's a special player. She's rebounding the ball, I think, up at the top of the conference, too. So, of course, you're focusing on her a little bit. But, they have role players that understand what their role is, and they come in and they're impactful. And then they got other kids that can flat out score. So you're getting a little bit of both in that. But, of course, you want to shut her down as much as possible. And,
absolutely.
Our girls have already started talking about how we're going to do that.
Good. Well, we'll see it happen tomorrow, hopefully. For more information on the CUC women's basketball program, head to cucougars.com or come check them out tomorrow here in Geisman Memorial Gymnasium. Peter Borkowski and I will be on the call tomorrow afternoon.
Nice.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Roll Cougs.
What's going on, Cougar fans, and welcome inside Geisman Gymnasium as we get set for some Saturday afternoon hoops between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the visiting Sabres of Marian University. Dean Borkowski here, Troy Prattley on the Cougar Sports Network, rocking the Wolverines jersey. I got the Cubs. It's Jersey night here in Geisman, so hopefully we see a wide variety of fan jerseys out there, but let's focus on the jerseys that are going to be on the court, the maroon Cougars and the blue Marian Sabres. And let's start with the Cougars. They're kind of in need of a win here. They've lost 6 straight going back to December 6th of last year. It's been a while since the Cougars team has been able to celebrate a W, and that continued this past Wednesday at IAC. A tough 75-64 loss at the hand of the Scarlet Hawks, and that loss really came because of a pretty poor fourth quarter from the Cougars.
Yeah, you got it. The Cougars went into that game leading by 1 the entire game, the majority of the game, into the fourth quarter leading by 1. They lost by 11, so a 12-point collapse there in the fourth quarter. Much of that due to turnovers. The Cougars turned the ball over 28 times in that game, and that led to 20 points off turnover for Illinois Tech.
And the Cougars did have a good offensive game. 5 players in double-digit points, led by Allison McGregor with 11 points and 13 rebounds for a double. Malia Perry, led the Cougars in points in general with 16 on the night. But someone I really wanted to highlight, Troy, was Sydney Mitchell, the sophomore for CUC. She had another double-digit point night, her second in a row, and these were her first 2 double-digit points all year. I mean, she was held to single digits all through the season until the last 2 games, where she's really starting to come alive for a Cougars team who they're missing 3 starters right now. And I think Mitchell is kind of the epitome of the mentality this team has to have, which is everybody's got to step up, right? You're missing Michaela Ellis, Kalia Reed, your top 2 scorers, which means that it's got to be more of a team effort from CUC.
Yeah, you got it. And the Cougars haven't been shy with scoring. They come into this contest second in the conference in points per game. So they're used to putting a lot of points on the board. And it seems as if you're right. It's got to be a next man up mentality. And we'll look to see Sydney Mitchell see if she can get a 3rd straight double-digit game for the Cougars. And they're going to need it tonight, as you mentioned, with 3 starters on the bench for them.
Right. I had mentioned Michaela Ellis and Kalia Reed. Leela Scott also will be missing today's game. So, like Troy said, CUC, they got to have that next woman up mentality if they want to be able to pull off a win against a Sabres team who they recently beat another Division Street school. That was Dominican at Marian. Marian won that game 72-38 this past Wednesday. Chelsea King with 22 points. Brianna Gielig had a really nice night, 11 points, 10 rebounds for the double-double with 6 assists and 4 steals on top of that. Gielig doing a little bit of everything, but Troy, I think the main takeaway for the Sabres from that game was the defense. I mean, holding any team to 38 points is impressive, but the way they did it against Dominican, I think, was really, really impressive of what this team can do.
Absolutely. You mentioned it. They did not give up a single 3-point ball that whole entire game. So 38 all on free throws and made field goals, 2-point baskets. The Sabres do come into this contest also first in 3-point opponent three-point percentage, okay? And that means that they're playing really strong out by the 3-point arc and not allowing open shots at the 3-point line. So that's something we'll see if the Cougars can get a hold of today, or if that's something that the Sabres continue to dominate in that defensive area around the arc.
Right, and CUC did struggle from beyond the arc against the Scarlet Hawks. Only shot 24% in that IIT game. So CUC, it's not going to get any easier today against a tough Sabres 3-point defense. But talking offensively, I think we got to look at Chelsea King, Troy. She's the second leading scorer on this team, 13 points, 5 rebounds a game so far this year. But she's got to be the main woman today because that lead scorer, Kiara Williams, who is playing like the MVP of the NAC right now, first in the conference in points per game and rebounds per game, she's out for today's game. She's missed the last 2 games. She's missing today's game. So I think the Sabres really got to look to King as well as whoever else feels like stepping up to be able to replace Williams' production.
Yeah, it seems like maybe there's a theme tonight, right? Next woman up. As we mentioned for the Cougars, it's going to be the same for the Sabres. So we're going to see whose bench is deeper and whose team is going to rally together and replace their superstars and play a good game of team basketball.
Right. Well, all-time, the Cougars lead the all-time series 18-8 over the Sabres. They last met almost a year ago today, last January 14, 2023. CUC took that game up in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. They also won the previous game before that, so CUC on a 2-game winning streak against the Sabres. And Troy, what do they got to do today to make it 3 in a row against Marian and hopefully get back in the win column for the first time in over a month?
Yeah, I think it's simple. 28 turnovers is too many, and that's what they had last time out against Illinois Tech. They got to limit that tonight. You'd like to see it closer to that 15 mark, and if they can get around 15, they're going to have a good shot to take this game from the Sabres tonight.
Right. As for me, it's all about the rebounds. We mentioned Kiara Williams, the leading rebounder in the conference. She's out for the Sabres, so CUC, they have kind of advantage in that now, and that they have a top 5 rebounder themselves, Allie McGregor.
Right.
She's going to have a big game on the boards, hopefully give the Cougars some, stolen defensive possessions as well as some second chance offensive possessions if the Cougars, again, want to end this 6-game skid that they're on. But we're going to see if they're able to do it when we have tip-off in just a second. Cougars and Sabres taking each other on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. We're going to send it down courtside for starting lineups and national anthem. But before all that, we have a very special message from CUC President Dr. Russell Dawn.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
We're about ready for tip-off here in Geisman Gymnasium. Cougars taking on the Sabres this Saturday afternoon. Peter Borkowski, Troy Prattley with you on the Cougar Sports Network. Let's run through the starting lineups one more time for everyone watching at home. First for the Sabres of Marian University, it's number 2, Chelsea King. Number 4, Lila Bartol. Number 15, Lexi Breakbush. Number 20, Brianna Gielig. And number 24, Imani Ninham. Head coach of the Sabres is Josh Ward in his second season, and he's assisted by Brandy Bender. Meanwhile, for the Cougars, it is number 1, Malia Perry, number 10, Princess Gates, number 30, Allison McGregor, number 31, Abby Kulig, number 55, Sydney Mitchell, and head coach of the Cougars in her 6th season is Coach Lauren Martin, assisted by Anthony Johnson and Gary Butler. And the student managers of the Cougars are Sydney Lloyd and Mackenzie Strawlin. Kulig and Bartol get set for the tip, and Kulig wins it to her sophomore teammate, number 55, Sydney Mitchell, who gets it right back to Kulig, top of the key. Here's McGregor in the paint, kicks it back out. Perry back to Kulig, top. And right now, Princess Gates surveys the scene. Cougars working it around the perimeter on this first possession. McGregor over to Gates. Gates now goes for a drive off the glass and in. Cougars started off on the right foot.
Good possession right there for the Cougars. A lot of touches, a lot of action around the outside, the perimeter, and then a nice drive to finish it off. The Cougars take a 2-0 lead.
And Troy, we talked about the Cougars' struggle from 3 last game against IIT, as well as Marian, their strength in defending the 3 ball. And so I think you like to see that first possession from CUC. They decided to go at the rim rather than settle for a 3, as Malia Perry almost forces a turnover. 4 seconds left. New shot clock is instead called, and a 2 jumper from Chelsea King is good. Marian ties it up at 2.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Loose ball, it's kind of hard. You want to take a dribble and fast break. You try and pick it up, and right there it worked out in the Sabres' favor to tie this game.
Malia Perry almost came away with the steal, and it was instead gathered by Imani Ninham as Perry settles for the baseline J, and she hits it. Malia Perry. Cougars 2 for 2 on their field goal attempts, as the Sabres fighting from the behind once again and getting it to go through contact is Chelsea King. Troy, she had 22 points in her last game against Dominican, and she seems no sign of slowing down here. She's got all of the Sabres 4 points so far.
Well, we talked about it with Kiera Williams out. Somebody needed to step up, and Chelsea King looks like it might say, hey, this game's mine.
Might be mine tonight, but Allie McGregor, she returns the favor with a basket under the basket. And CUC now has a nice pass over to Ninham. Here's a deep 3, and it's good. Nothing but net from Lexi Breakbush. And so far, it seems we're going to have an offensive battle on our hands here. Neither defense able to get a stop yet. Kulig, top of the key, over to Perry. Perry holds, lets her teammates in motion. McGregor, Mitchell in the corner. Bounce pass to Kulig. Kulig takes a shot, and it's good. So offense is swinging 100% today. As here is Breakbush. Marian bringing it up. CUC getting their defense back. They're trying to trap Breakbush here with Perry and McGregor. There's now Chelsea King, 4 points on the day already over Ninham. Into the corner for Gielig.
The Cougars are in a zone coverage right now, but it seems that communication might be a little off. They're losing Sabres offensive players, and there is an open 3. No good.
No good from King. As the Cougars, they get the first defensive stop on either side of the court tonight. Now, see if they can capitalize on it offensively. Cougars like working it from the top of the key. Kulig, she'll tie her hand at a jumper. She'll hit it. CUC's offense on fire right now. Perfect from the field. And as the Sabres need a response to keep up. Chelsea King, a hard drive, goes up, draws the foul. Sydney Mitchell tagged with it, and that'll send number 2 in black to the line.
It's very clear what the Cougars' offensive game plan here is. They have a post touch every single possession down the floor so far, and they've got 10 points to show for it. So that's likely going to continue the rest of the game. We'll see if the Sabres can make a defensive change and maybe deny the post entry from the Cougars.
And I think you really like that choice from Coach Martin as King makes her first free throw, which, again, this team has struggled from the three-pointer. Last game they shot 20%. On the season, they're 27% shooters from the three-point line, and Coach Martin probably knows how good Marian is defending the three, so instead they're going to go into the paint, especially considering the Sabres are without their top rebounder in Kiara Williams today, the 5'10 sophomore. He's missing her third straight game, lead rebounder in the conference, so CUC might have an advantage down low. Kulig in the paint, out. Princess Gates an open three. It's good! CUC is rolling here in Geisman. They're on top 13-9. As here is Needham over to Bartle. King, she moves it over, and a three from Needham. That's no good. A rebound by Bartle, and instead it lands in the hands of Gielig. King, she tries her hand at a three ball. No good. CUC lead pass to Princess Gates. And Gates slows it down, waits for the rest of her offense to catch up. Malia Perry, a three, in and out, and Allie McGregor with the rebound. Jump ball called. Possession will be favoring Marian.
An exciting first few minutes here. It was kind of our first stoppage of play.
Say 5:32 left to go in the first, and as Troy mentioned, that's really our first stoppage. Besides the free throws from King, we also have our first sub of the day. For Marian, it is number 33, Michaela Gable. Cougars, they also check in Missouri Wingham and Alexis Desjardins, two of the upperclassmen leaders on this Cougars team, as a turnover is forced there. Great double team. Princess Gates and Abby Kulig landed right in the hands of Desjardins. Desjardins now finds Gates. Back to Desjardins. Leah Perry inside pass to Wingham. Bounce pass. Kulig baseline jumper. No good. That is Kulig, her first miss of the day. Previously 2 for 2. And taking it herself and getting it to go is Breakbush. Falls hard after the basket as Marian's made a one-possession game here, 13-11. Perry, Desjardins, stutter step, finds Perry. She'll shoot a three. That's no good. Hit the back of the rim, landing right into the hands of the junior Gable. Chelsea King. As the Sabres work it around the perimeter, they find a cutting Bartle, and that's blocked by Kulig. Abby Kulig has impressed, to say the least, in her freshman season. Defensively, she has 13 blocks on the year, make that 14 now. As going to the rim and losing it out of bounds. Last touch by, I believe, Marian, but a foul is called on Princess Gates, so it'll stay with the Sabres. As CUC checking in McGregor for Kulig. The junior Breakbush out of Oxford, Wisconsin, inbound. In the corner, she finds Gable. Gable kicks it out. King. Back to Gable. Gable thinks about a three. Good close out there by Wingham. Gable now dribbles under the basket. Decides to go with the underhand scoop and gets it to go. And we're all tied up at 13. 26 combined points through roughly 6 minutes of play as these offenses are feeling themselves. Marian shooting 50% from the field. CUC 67. Malia Perry, another three. No good. Allie McGregor tried to get the rebound. Instead, Brianna Gielig comes away with it. As Troy, we're seeing CUC get a little bit more comfortable firing from beyond the arc. And as they decide to do that, the offense is starting to stall out here.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and we just talked about it. Those post entries can be so big. And what you like to see is when the ball's down in the post, the defense has to force. They're forced to collapse. And that's when you can kick it out and get open threes along the outside. So that's what we'd like to see from the Cougars here. Still continue to get that post entry.
Meanwhile, a three from Bartle gives Marian the lead.
Marian now on a 7-0 run. 2 tough baskets and then an open three.
Missouri Wingham, a shot from the free throw line. Rebound corralled by King. CUC hitting a rut here. They haven't scored in over 3 minutes of play. As King, bunny hop, goes up and draws the foul. Chelsea King muscling her way to the basket. Nice stop on a dime. And she'll get a chance for a free throw here. And before that, we have a timeout. Coach Lauren Martin wants to talk things over with her team. And it will be a full timeout, so we'll take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network as well. CUC in a rut right now, but scored in 3 minutes and 22 seconds as they trail the Sabres 18-13, 2:46 left to go here in the first quarter. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network as CUC, their timeout is coming to a close here. Chelsea King getting set to shoot her free throw. She was 2 for 2 on her first trip to the line. She'll only have one here after completing the basket. But, Troy, something we're talking about is CUC and the three-pointer. I think you mentioned, they made their first three, and then after that they fire up 3 blanks, 1 for 4 on the night now as King misses it, but the Sabres get the rebound. And I think, the key to this Cougars three-point shooting is going to be knowing when to shoot the three. I think maybe they got a little false confidence after that first one, just decided to start hucking up as many as they can. Like you said, you got to wait for the perfect opportunity to take a three rather than just taking them to take them.
Yeah, and this is a Cougars team that only shoots the three-point ball at 26.6%. So they don't shoot a ton of them, and they don't particularly shoot them well. It's not the strength of this offensive approach for the Cougars. So there's another poach touch. That's exactly what they need right there, and you get an open shot.
Yeah, baseline jumper by McGregor. Way too much on it as it arcs over the basket. Marian coming the other way. 18-13 is their lead. Chelsea King a three, and it's good. A high arc on that shot, and it falls. Sabres continue their impressive run, 12-0 now. They take a 21-13 lead. Sydney Mitchell finds McGregor, top of the arc to Alina's Paul, the freshman, getting some time here in the first quarter. Corner three by Mitchell, no good. Rebound up, tipped around, and corralled by King. Chelsea King now leading the rush. She pulls back and slows it down. And she finds number 11, Riley Woodson. First time we've called her name tonight. And here's Breakbush. A drive and a floater, no good, but she draws the foul. She'll get 2 shots coming up. Block called on Malia Perry. And now Alexis Desjardins checks out for Abby Kulig. Taking free throws here are Breakbush. She hits our first one of the day. Something else to watch now, Troy. CUC with 4 fouls, 1:25 left to go here in the first. And I think the negative thing about that, 4 fouls isn't a ton. They're not putting Marian in the bonus yet, but, all these fouls are coming on shots, too. These are not fouls on the floor, so you're basically giving Marian 2 free points as they force a turnover there.
Yeah, you got now Marian on another fast break, and they're going to get another open 3 look here.
And that'll hit Breakbush. She hits her second three-pointer, and that's going to cause Coach Martin to use another timeout here, her second, and it'll be a 30-second timeout. So we'll keep it here on the Cougar Sports Network. And look at some of the trends, Troy, and none of them in the Cougars' favor right now. Marian 13-0 run, 15-3 run over the last 5 minutes. CUC 0 for their last 7 from the field, while they're on a 4-minute and 47 scoring drought. In your eyes, Troy, what do the Cougars need to fix here? What do you think Coach Martin's talking about that timeout to hopefully come out of it and just get back in the scoring column, which, again, they haven't been in for almost half a quarter now.
Yeah, so Marian's going to come out, and they're going to be in a zone here, a 2-3 zone. And kind of what you're looking for in a 2-3 zone is you want a low post and you want a high post. And that's why they have McGregor and Kulig here in the game at the same time. So when you're going to get a ball inserted into the low post or the high post, what you like to see then is a back pick, a screen at one of the corners, and that's where you're going to get your open three. So you get a low touch there. Now you got Kulig in the high post, and they're just going to keep rotating down. See Kulig in the high, McGregor in the low. And eventually the defense is going to break, and there you go.
And a jumper from Kulig is no good, goes out off of a Sabre, so CUC gets a second chance here.
But that's the kind of look that you want. The offensive movement is swinging back and forth across the arc and entry into the post touch for either a Kulig or a McGregor. Good look at a shot.
Perry, she fires a three. She had two defenders in her face as it bounces over the backboard. And another example, Troy, of a three that probably isn't the smartest decision. She had her primary defender right in her face, and then the secondary defender was able to close out as well, so she had two hands up in her face.
Yeah, especially in a zone look like that, when you've got two on you, it means there's somebody open.
So always looking for that one more pass, as here's a shot and a miss from Gable. Sydney Mitchell now brings it up. As we mentioned pregame, Mitchell getting increased playing time due to the absence of three of the Cougars' main starters, Leila Scott, Michaela Ellis, and Kalia Reed. As Cougars, they have just 5 seconds left. Perry, she fires up a three. It's good! Cougars, their first basket in over 5.5 minutes, and it comes at the end of the first quarter. And that brings it back to a single-digit game, but Marian, an impressive 16-0 run before that three-pointer. That gives them a 25-16 lead as we head into the break here in Geisman Gymnasium. As we head into the second quarter, Sabres, they're on top of the Cougars, 25-16. We'll be back in just a second. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, Peter Borkowski, Troy Prattley with you. Cougars trailing the Sabres 25-16. And Troy, as we mentioned a couple of times, Kiara Williams, the top scorer in the conference, out for today, but that doesn't seem to be any hindrance to the Sabres. They have scored 25 points here in the first quarter as they're looking to add on to that lead. Layup is good from Breakbush, and Breakbush is one of the reasons this offense is staying afloat, Troy. 11 points. Chelsea King, she's already got 11. And like we said, it's really a next woman up mentality as that jumper from Kulig, no good. Rebound, McGregor, and she's fouled on the shot, which will give us a sec to talk about. You know, without Williams, Troy, this Marian team, they're finding other ways to score. They have their two lead scorers in Breakbush and King, and they're just getting the job done again, even without that top scorer in the conference.
Yeah, part of it is, they're shooting 50% from the three-point line, and that's something that most would consider unsustainable.
Yeah.
And if they're going to shoot 50% from the three-point line the rest of the game, well, then that's a job well done, and they deserve to walk out of this gym with a win tonight. So that's one area. But the other area, we talked about it in pregame, and that's the turnovers. In last game, the Cougars turned the ball over 28 times at Illinois Tech. They only have 3 so far, so the turnovers are down, but those 3 turnovers had led to 6 Sabre points. So the turnovers are a direct correlation to points going on the board. So It's going to be limiting the turnovers, and if you do turn it over, get back on defense to avoid easy layup, and then also defending the three-point line and see if you can knock down that 3-point percentage a little bit lower, which as it just did with that missed 3 right there on that possession.
So Sabres now at a 44 3-point percentage as we will have a foul here. Breakbush tagged with it. But on the season, the Sabres are only shooting 26% from beyond the arc. That's lower than the Cougars' 27%. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell by the way these two teams are shooting today. And in general, Marian, they're shooting 55% from the field, another mark most people would consider unsustainable. Here's Kulig. A short jumper is good. Abby Kulig, 6 points so far on the night. She's doing a good job taking some of the scoring burden up for the Cougars without their 2 lead scorers in Ellis and Reed. As here is Bartle. Starts her drive, and a pass to Needham lands in the hands of the Cougars' assistant coaches. So CUC, they get a turnover there. And they'll have a chance to close this 8-point gap a little more.
Now we're going to see Chelsea King re-enter the game. She started, obviously she's got leads the game in points so far, and she's back on the court now after a little Concordia run there.
Missouri Wingham, the senior for CUC. She finds Mitchell. Her shot rings off the rim, and Marian playing with speed here. Breakbush still trying to penetrate the defense. Now here's Needham. Moves it over to Gielig. Here's an open 3 and a deep 3 from Lila Bartle. It doesn't matter where they're shooting it from. Marian is hitting their threes. 5 for 10 tonight so far from three-point land.
Yeah, and that one was just kind of a classic dribble penetration and kick out to the open offensive player around the 3-point arc. When you drive down, that's what we were talking about earlier, the defense collapses, and she's able to find the open Sabre player or teammate and knock down the 3.
Just like that, except Needham can't hit the corner 3. CUC having a little trouble finding the open shooter and picking up the open shooter as Malia Perry now, as her inside lob, the Kulig sails over everybody's heads and out of bounds. An unforced turnover there for CUC. Alexis Desjardins checks in. Desjardins, one of, if not the most consistent 3-ball shooter on this Cougars team, hitting them at a 41% rate. Might be the secret to the Cougars finding some success from beyond the arc. Needham, her shot. I don't know if Wingham got a piece of it. It doesn't matter as the Sabres able to clean up the miss and put it back through for 2. Here's Wingham again. CUC. They need to find some consistency offensively as Kulig, Desjardins, McGregor top of the key. Back to McGregor after Wingham had it for just a split second. As Desjardins almost throws it away. McGregor get put into motion. 5 seconds left here. Desjardins, Cougars need to get one up. Mitchell, her shot. I believe King got a piece of it. Kulig, she can't put the air ball back up in time. And a shot clock violation rung up on CUC. And Troy, if I had to use one word to describe the Cougars' offense right now, I think stagnant would be a good word.
Yeah.
There just isn't a ton of motion. And whatever motion there is, it's kind of leisurely players jogging into their spot. And when you're playing a good defense like Marian's, you know, when you're just kind of trotting around the court, you're not going to find open looks like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Cougars come out with an offensive setup play here against the zone, you know, that you've designed and can get a nice open bucket here that might settle you down a little bit. And if not, you got to keep the movement in the zone, right? That's a good entry pass right there. That's a good look.
McGregor just cannot finish the basket. Had 2 hands on her. As here's Gielig off the bank and in. Brianna Gielig making a withdrawal, and the Sabres now up 36-19. But that is a good point, Troy, about the zone. Is, you know, you can't really beat a zone with pick and rolls or screens because players are not on top of their offensive assignments usually. It's just about good passing, finding those open passing lanes, which the Cougars have not found the secret to today. Deep 3 by Desjardins. It's good. Nothing but net. No shot is too far for number 12 in gold. And that gives the Cougars a much-needed shot in the arm. They pull back within 14. Needham on the handoff. Now she's just going to drive open lane. Good. She dusted her defender in Desjardins. Cougars couldn't recover with the help. And now CUC back down by 16. Mitchell, she'll take it herself. Can't get it to go. McGregor the board. McGregor finds Desjardins, fires a corner three. No good. And rebound collected by Bartle. I think Desjardins took a split second too long on that three. Check to see where her foot was. I think she could have gotten that off a little bit quicker. Minham, her shot no good. Here's Wingham. 4.5 to go here. Inbounding pass, no good. Entry pass, should say, is picked off. Here's King trying to go coast to coast. Lays it up, no good, but she draws the foul.
The one thing yesterday when we sat down with Coach Lauren Martin in her Coaches Weekly, and one thing we discussed in preparation for Kiara Williams was how is the Cougars defense going to defend the post? Is it going to be kind of a one-on-one? You're going to rely on your post defensive players to play well, or is it a team effort? And kind of what we've seen, Marian's made their last 4 of 5 field goals, and all 4 of those makes have come inside the paint. We've not seen a ton of rotational help defense from the Cougars, and that's one thing you kind of would like to see here. Maybe to slow down Marian's offense is, hey, let's take a charge. Let's get in the drive lane and get our hands up so that when they do drive, those dribble penetrations get knocked down by the hands in the air. So we'll see maybe if we can see a more active Cougars defense slide into what you'd call help defense, right?
Well, back on the offensive end, Mitchell pulls it out. Now she stops right within the three-point line. Here's Lindley Southern, another freshman who's earned herself a decent chunk of playing time in her first year in the college game. Kayla Jackson, another new face on the court today, as Sydney Mitchell, her three no good. Kayla Jackson goes up for the board, and she draws the foul. Kayla Jackson getting physical in the paint, draws it on Woodson.
We talked about it pregame. We were maybe going to see the Cougars go deep into the bench with 3 starters out, and we see that right now. There are 3 freshmen currently in the game, Kulig, Southern, and Nickerson right now for the Cougars.
As Jackson's first free throw is good, and Kayla Jackson, another example of Coach Martin kind of pulling from her teams. Only 6 minutes averaged per night for Kayla Jackson, the graduate student out of Worth, Illinois. So you have, like you said, Troy, you have 3 freshmen, their first year of collegiate ball. You have Kayla Jackson, who's averaging under 10 minutes a game, and you have Sydney Mitchell. This is her first year wearing the maroon and gold. So a foreign lineup to anyone who hasn't been watching Cougars basketball besides the returning Jackson, as CUC brings it up with Mitchell over to Nickerson. Nickerson thought about a 3, that puts it on the ground. Southern fakes the pass, finds Nickerson again. Here's Kayla Jackson. Sydney Mitchell, Cougars, a lot of passing on the outside, not much going on inside. Kayla Jackson, she loses the dribble. She's got to get a shot up. Mitchell, she does. A last-second 3, no good, but off the rim. CUC resets the shot clock, but grabbing the rebound was Gielig. Good job by Mitchell to at least hit the rim, but Gielig able to chase down the loose ball. And driving to the rim and blocked by Kulig. Abby Kulig throwing a block party today. A defensive presence, to say the least, in the post. As here's Mitchell. Mitchell over to Southern. Southern moves it to the corner. Kayla Jackson back to Southern. Mitchell. Cougars holding on to the ball for a while. Southern inside, and it's over the head of Jackson, right into the hands of Gable. And there's another problem we're kind of seeing, Troy, with this offense is they're just holding the ball. Every time they pass it, we usually see the player hold on for a good second or two, and that gives a zone defense especially time to kind of reset, figure out, all right, what's my zone, what's my assignment? And when you're playing a zone, you got to have that quick ball movement. You got to be firing that thing around to break it.
Well, yeah, and it's not just so much about retreating back to your zone. It's you don't even have to leave your zone when the ball's in the same spot, right? So you're right. You like the quick passes, move the ball around, see if you can get another post entry. You like to, maybe get somebody running the baseline too, corner to corner to corner to corner, see if they can get lost.
Get those zones shifting and finding those open lanes. And there's a foul on the shot. Breakbush will head back to the line. I think at this point, 2:05 to go here in the first half. CUC down by 15. Breakbush with 2 freebies coming up. The goal for Coach Martin is just kind of hold it in this 15-point zone and then make some pretty major halftime adjustments because Cougars aren't doing well, slowing down a Sabres team shooting over 53% from the field. And they're also not doing much to break this tough zone defense, who's holding the Cougars to 33% from the field, 27 from beyond the arc.
I think there's still a ton of time left to play in this game. So if you're the Cougars, you're saying, hey, let's finish this half out on a good note, see if we can get a couple baskets here, get in rhythm, something to hang our hat on when we go back into the locker room, and then come out and try and cut this, 17-point lead down to 10 or down to 6. There's a good shot right there. Emma Nickerson hits home a 3.
Nickerson finding her shot from beyond the arc. Her first three-pointer of the season. First three-point in her collegiate career as well, and it couldn't come at a better time. CUC trying to get a stop here. Gable able to keep it in bound. Good hustle play. She goes colliding into the Cougar fan section, and momentum killer right there from Breakbush. And that's something else that Marian's done really well, Troy, is whenever the Cougars do hit a 3, whenever they do get a good basket, whatever it may be, Marian does a good job of just keeping their composure, coming down, hitting a tough shot, and like I said, erasing momentum.
Yeah, you're right about that. That was a big one right there. Now see if the Cougars can answer here.
As Perry finds Jackson, top of the arc. Jackson pulls it back out. Nickerson thought about another 3, instead hands it back. Jackson a 3. Just comes up short, hits off the front of the rim. Just a little kiss on the front of the rim as Marian now. About 19 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. 33 seconds to go. Bunny hop from King. She draws a foul. CUC, their 4th team. As we wait to see who it's charged on, it is Malia Perry, her 2nd personal. That's something else I think Coach Martin's going to really want to shape up in the locker room, Troy, is just the fouling on the shots. This will be Marian's 10th and 11th free throw of the game, and they're not shooting them particularly well, only 67% right now from the freebie line, but, as obvious as it sounds, you don't want to give your opponent just free points, especially when they're already up by as much as Marian is right now.
Yeah, a lot of the fouling inside the paint comes from just being out of position right there. So you see a pump fake and one dribble, and then everyone tries to collapse late.
Scrambling to collapse late.
Exactly. Whereas, if you've got a foot or two already in the paint, you're kind of there to contest that shot.
You can get in front of the defenseman, in front of the offenseman, properly, and go up for a good contest. Something else to note that for the Cougars that Coach Lauren Martin will probably have something to say about in the locker room, as CUC just about a second separating the 2 clocks as Sydney Mitchell almost lost her dribble, able to get it back. Malia Perry, she holds on, finds Southern, back to Mitchell. Mitchell putting players in motion. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Nickerson a 3 off the side of the board, and that'll do it. I think players were confused if it was a shot clock violation or not. As
so I'm going to go 1 second back on the clock here.
Yeah, you're right. They have to put one. So it is a shot clock violation, and that went off with 1 second to go on the game clock, which means Marian will have 0.8 seconds specifically to inbound it and just get a heave. There it is. King one-arms it, not even close, but it doesn't need to be close. Marian, they're on top by 19 points here in Geisman Gymnasium, taking a 46-27 lead into the halftime locker room. Cougars, they're going to have a lot to work on. Coach Martin as well as the rest of her staff. Some major adjustments needed if the Cougars want to get back in this one, trying to pull off their first win since December 6th of last year. See what they do. And we're back on the Cougar Sports Network in roughly 14 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Second half action coming up shortly.
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
CUC nursing student and choose to stand tall for healing at a university that places Christ at the center and embraces teaching students to live a life fulfilled by purpose and meaning. Concordia University Chicago's new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree is an innovative and rigorous 4-year program that will prepare you to rise to the daily challenges of a rewarding nursing career and serve a greater cause. Our newly built modern simulation center features 4 distinct spaces, a skills attainment lab, multi-specialty intensive care spaces, a health assessment learning center, and a simulated home environment. Due to our close proximity to many world-class teaching hospitals, CUC's clinical rotations offer an abundance of diverse and real-world experiences. Learn more about earning your BSN at a Christ-centered university today.
I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall. Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane. So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennecke Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall, so the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there. Concordia Hall at Concordia University, Chicago.
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the court. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button.
This helps us to continue to have the best live stream possible for some great Cougar basketball moments.
Thank you and enjoy the game.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network inside Geisman Gymnasium as we get set for the second half of action between York Concordia University, Chicago Cougars, and the visiting Sabres of Marian University, who are currently on top of the Cougars, 46-27. Peter Borkowski, Troy Prattley with you on the Cougar Sports Network. And let's look over some of the stats before we get into the nitty-gritty of things. Your point leaders from the day are a pair of Sabres, Chelsea King as well as Lexi Breakbush. Both have 16 on the day. Meanwhile, leading the Cougars in the points category is Abby Kulig with her 6. In terms of rebounding, a pair of Sabres, they have 4, and Chelsea King as well as Lila Bartle. Meanwhile, for CUC, it is Allie McGregor with 4, just like King and Bartle for the team. For the game lead, Sydney Mitchell and Abby Kulig, they both have 3 assists. And for the Sabres, Bartle as well as Ninham and Gielig have 2 assists for the team lead. And Troy, kind of looking through the box score, there aren't a lot of numbers separating these two teams underneath the surface. I mean, rebounds 21-16 in favor of Marian. It's not that big a difference. Turnovers, the Cougars have 7, Marian has 3. That's not a huge difference either. I mean, all the discrepancy right now is coming in the shot making. Marian is shooting at very impressive numbers, and the Cougars, they're struggling from the field right now, to say the least.
Yeah, you got Marian shooting the three-point ball at 46.2 versus Concordia's 28.6, and total field goal percentage at 33.3 for the Cougars, 10 of 30. And the Sabres are 16 of 29 at over 55%. So something we talked about kind of midway through that first half there was, were the Sabres going to be able to sustain the high shooting? And for the rest of the half, they did. So we'll see if this break in action slows them down or if they continue to shoot the ball lights out like they did in the first half.
And offensively for the Cougars, Troy, I think we're probably both thinking the same thing, which is it's all about the ball movement. It's all about the off-ball movement. This is a very stagnant Cougars team right now. Players, they're not flying around the court if they don't have the ball in their hand. If they do have the ball in the hand, too, for that matter. When they do get the ball, they're usually holding on to it for a second or two before they move it to somebody else. That's just not how you beat a zone defense. You got to move. You got players cutting left, right, and center, and just whizzing that ball around to hopefully find a lapse in the zone. And CUC, we just have not seen that yet from them.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see here on the Cougars' first possession if they do set it up and see if we can get some sort of set play against the zone, assuming the Sabres come out in a zone, which, I assume they would given how the first half played out.
No reason not to. You hold the Cougars to 27 points in the first half. You score 46. Things are working pretty well. Don't fix it if it ain't broke, as Breakbush trying to add under a game-leading 16. She can't. Clunks it off the front of the rim. Mitchell, and it gets ripped out of her hand by Gielig, but a jump ball caught first. Possession favoring the Cougars off the bat. As Mitchell gets back up, she hit the ground hard, fighting for that loose ball. Mitchell, Kulig, Gates, McGregor, and Perry out there for CUC, while it's King, Bartle, Needham, Gielig, and Breakbush for the team in black, the visiting Sabres. Princess Gates pivoting, McGregor over to Perry. CUC still content to just work it around the three-point arc. Here's Kulig. Shot clock down to 5. Perry now. Couple jab steps, tries to use a screen. Gates, she has to fire a 3. No good. Rebound, part down by Allie McGregor. Great board there by number 30 in gold. Here is Mitchell. She finds Kulig at the top of the arc. CUC loves working from the top of the key, and a bad pass there is picked off. Chelsea King. She finds Gielig. Gielig puts it up. No good. Kulig another board. Ball down, and we're going to get another jump ball here. Possession this time favoring the away team. And Troy, that is not an optimistic first possession we saw there from the Cougars. There's really 3 players at the top of the key just moving it back and forth. You had Kulig just standing in the paint, and they had a shooter in the corner who they didn't even pass to, as Ninham's 3 is no good. Rebound collected by Bartle, but that's not what you want to see. That's not what we talked about coming out of halftime.
Yeah, the first time around before the offensive rebound and second chance, there was not a post touch. And then when they tried to go to the post touch the second time around, they went with a chest pass. We'll see maybe an entry, a lob pass, or a bounce pass might be a little bit better here with a lot of hands active in the middle of the defense. There's a nice bounce pass right there.
As Kulig muscles her way up. Abby Kulig using on that weight room training to her advantage, pushes through the defender. But the other thing about the Cougars offense, Troy, is they have a really good opportunity here. You have Abby Kulig and Allie McGregor out there at the same time. McGregor 6 foot, Kulig 5'11". You could put both in the paint to a degree and really mess up that zone by having 2 players in a zone. Instead, they seem content having one of those, bigs up top at the key and the other just kind of standing around under their basket waiting for her turn.
That's what I was mentioning earlier, maybe like a high post, low post action
right.
Where they kind of rotate one up, one down, one up, one down, and see if you can kind of high-low the defense from that.
As
right now, there's just 4 out, 1 in.
They put McGregor back up top as Mitchell cuts on the baseline. Malia Perry a 3, no good. Rebound right there by the 5'8" Chelsea King, sophomore out of Wisconsin Rapids. As she stops, finds Needham. Cougars want a travel call. Referees do not give it to them. Swing it all the way around to Gielig. Her shot up off the back of the iron and tipped out. Last touch by Marian. So CUC gifted a possession here. Perry finds Mitchell. Mitchell brings it up the far sideline. Sydney Mitchell to McGregor over to Perry. Inside pass and Kulig. She is fouled, so she'll get a trip to the free throw line. The other thing, Troy, you could do when you have 2 taller players out there like Kulig and McGregor is you can switch who's taking a turn in the paint. If you're dead set as Kulig makes her first free throw. If you're dead set in having one of them in the paint, the other up top, why don't you switch up? This time it's McGregor in there, this time it's Kulig, so you're getting a different personnel down there, and it's not just Marian matching up on the same big in the paint every time.
That's why I think the real advantage for the Cougars is when both of them are high-low in the paint at the same time, and you go 3 around the arc. But there's a couple nice possessions there for the Cougars.
As King, her shot no good. Ball tipped around, and another jump ball coming up. Our third one in just over 3 minutes of action in the second half. These teams getting a little feisty. Both of them in need of a conference win for different reasons. Marian, a conference win, would pull them at 500, 4-4 in conference play. While the Cougars, they're just looking for their first win period since December 6, 2023. As here comes Mitchell, blocked by Bartle, no foul. And there's a foul, a late one. As Coach Ward of the Sabres a little upset about that. So that'll send Mitchell to the line.
He doesn't like the referee on the far side of the court called the foul and not the referee under the basket. She responds that she has a better angle. He responds, no, you don't.
A little back and forth between, again, Coach Ward, who really wanting to get his team back to 500 in conference play. Marian just middle of the pack in terms of the conference standings. Currently sitting at 8th. That is the last playoff spot, so they would like a little bit of insurance as we really start hitting the home stretch of the season. Ninham, her 3 no good. Brought down by Bartle. Breakbush gets the pass up top. Now she'll start a drive to the rim. Floater, no good. Rebound there by Kulig. Here comes Mitchell. All the way over to Perry, and Perry tried to hot potato it over to McGregor, and it's picked off instead by Bartle. So CUC down by 13. As Bartle, she pulls up a 3, no good. A rebound right into the hands of Ninham. Bartle, she'll get a second chance at one, and in and out. Did everything but sink through the net. A tough break there from Bartle. Second chance 3, and it was inside the rim. Decided it didn't feel like scoring and popped itself out as the Cougars trying to take advantage of that. Kulig bounces it out. Gates in the corner, airballs it, but McGregor right there. She turns around and lays it in. And that was a good possession in terms of ball movement, Troy. We see the Cougars they got the defense to collapse in, which is something you previously mentioned. That's when Kulik kicked it out to Gates for the open corner three. Of course, she just could not hit it, but that's kind of what you want to see if CUC is set on using the three-pointer.
Yeah, and another thing we were talking about earlier was the Sabres' response every time the Cougars scored a basket, and there you go. The Cougars get a good possession, and then Breakbush now on a breakaway.
Yeah, Gielig with it. Gielig going up and fouled by Kulig. Kulig is having herself a day defensively in the paint, but gets a little too physical on that one. So that'll send Gielig to the line. Meanwhile, Gable and Woodson check in. Wow. Bartle and Ninham take a seat on the bench. So first free throw coming up for Gielig, and no good. Takes a couple bad bounces. Gielig goes to our first trip in general this game. 48-35 the score. Gielig trying to make it a 14-point game. She can't. Rebound is loose. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell turning on the Jets, and she gets fouled. Gielig runs into her. You like to see that, though, from Mitchell, Troy, which is just pushing the pace. If you aren't getting it done settled offense, then let's try and get something going unsettled, and just hopefully you can break the zone before they get it set up. However, a foul negates that as Kulig gets poked away. Ball still loose, and Perry's there to collect it.
And maybe we'll see the Cougars be a little bit more aggressive defensively, trying to create a fast break like you were just mentioning.
And 3-second violation on McGregor, and of course the 3-second violation negates it, but that was another good three-pointer look. McGregor gets it inside, gets the help defense to draw in, and then kicks it out to Perry for an open three. Would have been a good look if not for the violation. Here's Gielig now, uses the Woodson screen. Gielig blocked by Kulig. No soup for you, says number 31. She's having herself a day on the block party as this inside pass is on the ground. How about another jump ball for you? This time called in favor of the Sabres.
We'll now see Noelle Vogels, the junior from De Pere, Wisconsin, for the first time today for the Sabres.
Yeah, well, we're talking about injuries pregame, and Troy, if you look at the Marian bench, they're shorthanded as well. They have 3 players without a warm-up shirt. 2 of them are still in their warm-up shirt, so they're working with a 5-person bench right now, as we haven't seen a ton of personnel come in and out of the game for Marian. And compare that to the Cougars, who, yes, are dealing with injuries to 3 of their main starters, but they still have a decent-sized roster to back that up. McGregor, top of the key, finds Desjardins, who's checked in for CUC. Wingham. Kulig, her and McGregor switch spots. Bounce pass to McGregor, turn around, and it's ripped down by Woodson. That shot didn't even get above McGregor's chest. Woodson was right there to bring it down. Here's Breakbush now. To Woodson. Woodson facilitates it to Vogels. Breakbush. Breakbush on the move. Pivots, finds Gables, who loses it for a second. Woodson hands it back to 33 in black. 7 seconds left. Gables pulls up, no good. Rebound right into the hands of Malia Perry. Here comes Wingham. Desjardins back to Wingham. Kulig, top of the arc. As her and McGregor switch. Corner 3 from Desjardins. Count it. Desjardins, again, has been the best three-point shooter on this Cougars team all year long. Now 2 for 3 in the game.
Cougars back within 10 now with just over 12 minutes to play in the game.
It's Gables, her 3. There it is again, like clockwork. Marian, as me and Troy keep hammering, has always found a response to CUC's big baskets. CUC hits a 3. Marian's usually right there in response. They get it back up to a 13-point lead. Malia Perry, her 3's good.
All right, let's see if it happens right here.
as we get a timeout. Referee calling in favor of Lauren Martin, who maybe a little strategic move here from Coach Martin. We talked about Marian being able to respond, so Coach Martin says, before they get a chance to do that, we're going to take a break and hopefully kill off some momentum, as it'll be a 30-second timeout.
And one thing you might see coming out of the timeout here is a press, some sort of set press. They were in it to start the game, kind of a 1-2, 1-1 maybe. You might see that come back here now with kind of time narrowing down, a 10-point game, not trying to give them time to set up their offense and get another open look to respond. So let's see if that's something they're talking about right now. It would make sense as to why she called a timeout there right after that made basket. So
on a press, the other advantage of that, Troy, is that CUC, which we mentioned, maybe they need to start looking to the points off of turnovers, because, again, the settled offense is really struggling against the settled defense of the Sabres. CUC has 0 points off of turnovers right now. Marian has 12. So CUC, by enacting a bit of a press, might be looking to get some steals, some knockdowns, as air ball on that one is Breakbush. A rare bad shot from her today. As Wingham now brings it up. Kulig and McGregor switching spots in the paint. Here's Perry. Malia Perry trying to get her players in motion. Kulig, as that pass is knocked down, but a foul. Woodson getting a little too handsy. That's something else that Marian's been really good with today, Troy, is blocking down that paint player of the Cougars. Of course, when you only have one in the paint, it's pretty easy to do that, but it seems that any time CUC tries to enter the ball into the paint, Marian's right there to knock it down, get a steal out of it.
Yeah, they've denied the post pretty well.
As we see another steal there, Gables stops, fighting through contact, and will get a foul.
Kind of just airmailed that pass, teleported, as they say, across the court. Unfortunately, that's not a winning recipe.
As Gables, her first free throw on the trip is good. Gables gets ready for free throw number 2 of the trip and the day, and she's perfect on that trip. As Wingham with 80 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Cougars trying to find something here at the end of the third. Perry almost lost her dribble, able to get control back. Desjardins, she'll take a turn in the paint, and she gets gobbled up. No foul. Woodson eats that shot up. The second time we've seen her do that. Here's King, a little Euro step action. No good, but she draws the foul. As we see Marian playing with a little more speed this third quarter, it seems. Malia Perry tagged with her third, so she's got to be a little careful now. And 5 and you're done. So she has just one more foul to waste before she's out of the game, and we still have 11 minutes to go in regulation as King misses that free throw. 5 for 8 on the day so far for number 2 in black. 16 points, second leading scorer only to her teammate Breakbush. Her second free throw is good. So Marian, they take a 13-point lead. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network. CUC trying to get back in this one as Malia Perry gets her defender in the air. However, she lost the dribble, which allowed Marian to reset. Bounce pass inside of Kulig. Here's Desjardins, a catch and shoot 3, no good. Rebound going up for it was King. 4 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. King over to Breakbush. Breakbush drive, and no good. No foul either as she hits the ground hard. Wingham. Cougars can hold on for the last shot here. 17 to go. As head coach Ward is telling Vogels to drop. The way Cougars have been shooting pointer, I think he's okay letting Wingham shoot that one. 5 seconds. Wingham now starts to drive, finds a wide open McGregor. Great vision there from Missouri Wingham, and that'll end the third quarter on a high note for CUC. They closed the gap to 11 as a last-second basket from McGregor off some great movement from Wingham sets the Cougars up for a big fourth quarter. They're going to need it, down by 11. 10 minutes to go here in Geisman Gymnasium. See if the Cougars can pull off the comeback. They trail the Sabres 54-43. We'll be back in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network. Ten minutes left here in regulation as we get set for fourth quarter action. Sabres on top of the Cougars, 54-43. Peter Borkowski, Troy Prattley here on the Cougar Sports Network. And Troy, I think what we need to see out of the Cougars here that we haven't seen all game is a big run. I mean, we saw it at the beginning of the first when CUC went up by a decent bit, but since then it's been either back and forth or it's been all Marian. And like we've mentioned, Marian does a good job of killing any CUC momentum, but they want to get back in this one down by 11 with 10 minutes to go. They're going to need a decent stretch of points here to get back in it.
Yeah, the largest run for the CUC offense tonight has been 8 points. And one thing we talked about at the halftime break was the shooting discrepancies between the two teams. Well, that changed a little bit, shifted in favor of the Cougars in that third quarter there. The Cougars shot at 45% versus the Marian 12.5%. So a much larger difference there, kind of evens that game back out, and that makes for a cleaner third quarter and a little bit of a run to allow the Cougars back into the game.
Ninham, her three is no good, but rebound Marian. Bartle, baseline drive, fires it over Ninham. A baseline jumper, no good, and rebound Wingham. CUC getting their shooting together a little bit in that third quarter. They're up to 36% on the day, while Marian, they now sit at 38. Three by Perry, it's good! And the Cougars, for the first time in what feels like forever, are back within single digits. It's an 8-point lead, 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, this might be the most important defensive possession of the day for the Cougars right here. They got to be real active, hands up, eyes on at all times.
As Wingham gets a piece of it, tipping it out of bounds. So Marian will have a chance to reset their offense here. Cougars can reset their defense. Like Troy said, a defensive stop here would be huge for CUC. Marian always seems to have a response, and that's poked away by Cooling. Abby Cooling, she's tripped and fouled. She's having herself a game defensively. A big impact player all year for CUC. She's getting it done on both ends today. 10 points, as well as 3 steals and 3 blocks now. Here's McGregor. Desjardins finds McGregor in entrance pass. Cougars moving around. 3 from Desjardins. Hits off the back of the rim. And here come Marian now. They're moving with some speed. Breakbush, she's fouled. Breakbush running right into Malia Perry. And that'll be Perry's 4th personal, which means she's 1 away from checking out for the day. Breakbush 3 for 4 from the free throw line, make it 4 for 5. (55-46), make it 56-46. So double-digit lead once again for the away team. Here comes Wingham. Wingham to Kulig. Kulig to Desjardins. Entrance pass. McGregor kicks it out. Corner three from Perry, in and out, but McGregor with the rebound. Desjardins now. Top of the arc, initiates a drive. She finds Wingham. 13 on the shot clock. Over to Desjardins. She'll take another three and hit it! Alexis Desjardins, you need a three, you know who to call. And CUC back within 7 now.
Yeah, and right now it's all about stacking possessions here for the Cougars on both ends. That's a good offensive possession. Now you need a stop. You get a stop, now you got to go back and put more points on the board.
That ball popped out of bounds by Desjardins, who will check out. Excuse me, she thought she was checking out. Instead, it's Malia Perry comes out of the game for Princess Gates. Again, Perry with 4 fouls, so Coach Martin might be stashing Perry, who's made 3 threes tonight for a late game situation. Breakbush and gets stripped of the ball. Needham, a 3-0 but net. Needham, a big 3 to get the lead back up to 10.
Yeah, that was a really big shot there. Like you mentioned, back up to 10. Malia Perry will probably be on the bench here for the next 2 or 3 minutes, probably back in at the 4-minute mark. If I were to guess, as you mentioned, she does have 4 fouls now.
4 fouls, but 3 3 balls. So, depending on how the rest of this fourth quarter shakes out, Coach Martin probably saving her for a late game situation as Wingham. First free throw is good. First free throw of the day, first point of the day for Missouri. Wingham, who makes it a 9-point game, 59-50. Wingham set. Second free throw, no good. Rolls out, and Woodson collects the rebound over McGregor. Here comes Breakbush. Breakbush over to Woodson to Gielig. Here's Ninham. Ninham using some screens. Shot is good, and Imani Ninham with 7 points now. 5 of which on her last 2 shots. She's coming alive when her Sabres really need some help pulling away from CUC. And Desjardins, another 3, no good. Was probably just an inch or so from going in. As Sabres can build on an 11-point lead here. Breakbush to Woodson to King. King a 3, no, off the front of the rim. Rebound by King. That's a bad rebound given up by CUC. Nobody was in pursuit of that ball, and King just able to clean up her own mess. Wingham, as the Cougars are back down by 13. They were as close as 7 just a minute or 2 ago. Here's Kulig to Desjardins. Under the basket, uses the glass perfectly. CUC.
That's the type of high-low action that I've been looking for. They executed it very well right there.
And with 2 players in the paint on that possession, Troy, with Desjardins and I believe it was Kulig was the other player. I mean, Marian didn't know exactly who CUC was looking to. So that's why Desjardins was able to get that open basket under the rim. As Marian, as per usual, responds with a basket of their own. 65-52. Desjardins running around the court, just looking for any kind of open lane. Here's McGregor back. Princess Gates thought about a 3, instead puts it on the ground. McGregor now, through contact, gets the foul.
Yeah, right there when Desjardins was at the top of the key, number 20 in black with both hands raised with her feet out past the three-point line. So it's been a point of emphasis now here as of late to not let Desjardins get any open attempts here from deep.
But what that did was it opened up Princess Gates, who decided not to pull the trigger on that 3, but just because of the attention that Desjardins, earns above the three-point line, that's going to open up some other shooters, especially when you have Desjardins 3 for 7 from beyond the arc, as McGregor comes away with no points on that free throw. King brings it up. Chelsea King. Bunny hop, pivots, and she's all tied up. I believe Sydney Mitchell got some hands on it as Mitchell fires it across to Wingham. Wingham now. Mitchell back to Wingham, over to Mitchell again. Entrance pass, Cougars kick it out to the corner. Gates fouled on the shot. Foul on 33, Michaela Gable, her second personnel and fourth team for the Sabres. Desjardins checks out, Kulig back in. Princess Gates' first freebie is good. Her first trip to the line this game.
Under 5 to go here, Coach Martin is going to have a choice on how she wants to play this last 5 minutes. And here you go. There's the press that we've been talking about. We might see it, and here we do.
McGregor and Wingham up front at midcourt was Mitchell and Gates. And then Kulig playing safety near the Cougar basket as Marian effectively breaks it. They're now in control offensively. 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. Gable to Breakbush. Breakbush starts her drive into the paint. She gets all tangled up. And here is a three, no good from Bartle. Rebound ripped away by McGregor. Go ahead pass to Gates. Gates brings it up, and she's got someone on her back. Good call out by her team on the bench. As Wingham decides to take this one on her own. Acrobatic finish is no good. Rebound on the ground. Everybody tangled up, and we'll get a jump ball. Possession favoring Marian. See what CUC does. They break out the same press here. McGregor, Wingham, well on Marian's side of the court. Gates and Mitchell out at midline as Breakbush, she falls down under her own power. No foul. Gable, tough basket. Slicing and dicing through the defense. Gets it around Kulig. Here's Mitchell now. Mitchell to Gates. Gates back to Mitchell. And entrance pass. McGregor, she's fouled and one. Allison McGregor coming alive here in the fourth quarter. She's at 9 points now on the night. She can make it 10 with a free throw here.
Yeah, the Cougars are in a tough spot now because you got to play fast, but you can't play reckless, right? And especially offensively, it's like you got to get shots off quickly, but you can't have bad looks at shots because then you're essentially just wasting possession.
Yeah, we'll see as King gets the ball knocked out of bounds.
So they're going to have 1 second here. 1 second to get the ball across half court.
As they do call a timeout.
Yep.
And as Troy said, they're basically going to have to inbound it on the Cougar side of the court. So 30-second timeout for Josh Ward to figure out what his game plan is to, like we said, get that ball over in just 1 second. But while the teams take a break to talk things over, let's talk about what's been going on in CUC athletics today and yesterday. The weekend kicked off in Aurora. The track and field team competing at the Aurora Grand Prix. The men's team, they placed 13th of the 16 teams there. Women's squad, however, they fell down to 12th of the 12 teams competing. Meanwhile, today, another track and field event as a different set of personnel. We're at the Keenan Invitational at Naperville. So we'll have those results up for you shortly. Meanwhile, the men's basketball team, they wrap up the weekend tonight, 7 p.m. date at Marian University. But in terms of this Marian CUC game, the Sabres got to get it over in just 1 second, and they do. Gable able to break away from Wingham. 16 seconds now on the shot clock. Woodson passes to King. King looking for an outlet as she got double teamed. She decides to just take it and foul. Abby Kulig trying to go for her fourth block. Instead comes up with the flag. And that'll be Kulig's second personal, and Chelsea King now can extend this to a 13-point lead based on her shooting here. King, 21 points on the night. Second straight 20-point game from King. She hits it, makes it 22. Now 7 for 10 from the free throw line. Shot is up and good as well. A successful trip, and that gives Marian a little more breathing room. 69-56. CUC's got to get in action here, and Wingham charged with a charge. And that is not what you want to see if you're Coach Martin. A wasted offensive possession when you need to make up 13 points in 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
I like the play call there to give Desjardins an open three, just unfortunately quite a little bit out of control there and kind of plowed through the Sabre defender.
Desjardins was wide open at the top of the key, but
it's a good set.
Wingham unfortunately backing into her defender, and Chelsea King bunny hopping her way to the basket. She's at 25 now as Marian continuing to pull away from CUC, and another fatal mistake on the hands of CUC. Princess Gates stepping out of bounds. And now it's just a matter of clock for Marian. Up by 15 here, 2:40 to go. Chelsea King finds Woodson. Woodson looking for somebody, finds Breakbush. Breakbush puts the moves, and her Euro step will be fouled. Missouri Wingham getting her on the arm. Wingham, her third personal. Wow. Bartle and Ninham check in for Woodson and Gable. So you see 4-team fouls, so one away from putting Marian in the bonus. Here's Breakbush. Breakbush, and there's a foul. The Cougars trying to say that Breakbush reached in and pushed off, which drew the foul from Sydney Mitchell. Referees, however, only saw the foul from Mitchell, which puts Breakbush on the line. Marian now in the bonus. 2:20 left to go here in game. First free throw from Breakbush, a little too hard on that one, so CUC still alive for now, and there is Malia Perry getting set to check in. CUC knows that the three-point line is probably their only answer right now, down by 16.
And both teams kind of going with an offensive set and a defensive set, checking in now on each possession, going possession by possession, which five they want on the floor strategically.
Woodson and Gable checks in. Woodson's been a great presence in the paint for Marian as Malia Perry, top of the arc, hits a three! Malia Perry has 4 fouls, but that's not going to stop her from hitting her 4th three of the day. Gets CUC back within 13. Here's King. Cougars cannot foul even on the floor. Gable over to Woodson. Woodson finds Breakbush. Marian trying to waste a little clock here as well. Breakbush, that's blocked by McGregor. McGregor getting in on it as here's Wingham, finds Perry. Perry, another three ball. It's no good. Looked good from here as it hit the top of the ropes. So that'll be a turnover.
So now at some point the Cougars are going to have to consider fouling soon. You know, you only got a minute and a half left, so possessions are going to be numbered now.
Yeah, so figure a three-pointer from Marian would probably be a dagger as ball is over. Here's Breakbush, Gielig to Breakbush, and a foul on Missouri Wingham, knocking over Gielig. Wingham, her third. So she's going to be a little careful now. Sydney Mitchell also with 3. Excuse me, that is Wingham's 4th. The scorebook just updated, so she's 1 away from fouling out. And Coach Lauren Martin, though, she knows it's desperation mode, so she's going to keep her senior guard in for now. First free throw, no good from Gielig. Gielig is 0 for 3 from the line tonight. As her second shot is up and good. Make it a 14-point game. CUC needs to start firing some threes. Here's Wingham. Desjardins, long three. It's good! Alexis Desjardins. She can hit them from anywhere. That brings the Cougars back within 11. Here's Breakbush. Cougars careful not to foul, especially Malia Perry. She's at 4. As here's King. CUC, they got to get the ball here somehow. King, jumper from the free throw line. It's money.
Yeah, at this point now, not fouling down 13 now, you're kind of saying we're content letting this one go.
Desjardins, a tough shot. It's no good. And a timeout called by Ward. It's Ward of Marian. 30-second timeout. So the Sabres will have a full shot clock to work with. 30 seconds, 44 seconds left in the game. And like you said, Troy, assuming that there is no late game theatrics, this one is basically all said and done.
Yeah, it is. I mean, down, they were down 11 that possession and chose not to foul, let the shot clock run pretty much all the way out. So that's a kind of good indication that they're not going to foul and put Marian back to the line, that this one's all but over. Yep.
So Marian will have possession here. They can hold up the ball, drain the clock down to 14 seconds left. If they use the whole shot clock, the Cougars are guaranteed at least one more possession. As here's Inham. Inham finds Breakbush. A heavy press by CUC. No fouling. Wingham can't. She's at 4. That would be the end of her day as Breakbush just dribbles well beyond the arc, trying to run down as much clock as possible. 30 seconds to go in the game. Here's Bartle. Bartle swings it over Inham. And passing up a wide open 3 was Vogels. And taking a 3 finally is Breakbush. Cougars get possession here. Shot clock is off as Sydney Mitchell for Nazare Wingham. No good. A rebound by Breakbush, and that should do it. 6 seconds on the game clock. No shot clock, as that will indeed do it. So Marian University comes into Geisman, and despite a sloppy start to the game, Marian able to pull away, come away with a 75-62 win here at CUC this Saturday afternoon. Well, let's look at some of the stat leaders for the day. In terms of the point leader, it is Chelsea King, another brilliant performance from the sophomore. 27 points on the day, but not to be outdone. Lexi Breakbush scored 21, had herself a great day as well. The CUC point leader is a tie between Malia Perry and her 4 3-balls, as well as Alexis Desjardins and her 4 3-pointers. So Desjardins and Perry shooting pretty well from beyond the arc. Not enough to get it done. They each had 14. Rebounding champ for CUC, Allie McGregor with 11. But on the day, Chelsea King putting up the double-double with 12 of her own rebounds. She is the rebounding leader for the day. And assist-wise, Lexi Breakbush, 3 for Marian, while CUC, 2 players with 5 in Kulig and Nazare Wingham. I think Abby Kulig deserves a shout-out in her own right. 10 points on the day, 3 blocks and 3 steals. A really staunch defender for CUC, but like I said, just not enough to get it done against a Marian team who, for a moment there, Troy was shooting absolutely lights out. They end up coming away with the win. Let's get your final thoughts on the night.
Yeah, I think it was something we talked about in pregame. It was kind of a storyline throughout the day. Without Kiara Williams for Marian, who was going to step up, without 3 starters for the Cougars, who was going to step up, and it was Chelsea King, and we highlighted her pregame. And when their team needed buckets down the stretch, she delivered, and 27 total points. Many of those coming in the 4th quarter and within the last 5 minutes as well. So when her team needed it most, she was there, and that's really kind of what allowed Marian to pull away from that late Cougar run. They got within 7, but couldn't get all the way back. Chelsea King said, not today.
Well, CUC, the losing streak reaches 7 games. They'll have a chance to break it again this upcoming Wednesday, January 24th. They're right back here in Geisman Gymnasium taking on the Wisconsin Lutheran College Warriors. All that before they head to the 71st Annual Concordia Invitational Tournament next Friday. So CUC has one more chance to get back in the win column before they head to the always exciting CIT. But that'll do it today here from Geisman Gymnasium. Want to say thanks to everybody making this Cougar Sports Network production possible. Down at the scores table, we had Wyatt McLaughlin. On the statting side of things, Dave Dimeling, our camera people for the day, Emma Borelli, as well as Tyler Dorsch. Taking photographs was, as always, Sebastian Miller. Our producers for the day, Ashley Schroll and Jessica Gang. Peter Borkowski on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Troy Pratley. But one more time, CUC, they fall 75-62 at the hands of the Marian University Sabres. They will be back in action this Wednesday, 7 p.m. right here at CUC against the WLC Warriors. Coverage can be found at our website, cucougars.com, and the live stream on our YouTube page, CUC Sports. But until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off for the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.